to you in this one. I love you so much that I don't want you to come on the day of judgment bearing the sin me to shave my beard. It's nothing to do with religion. I'm your son, but I cannot shave my beard. Don't go to the masjid, don't wear hijab, whatever the issue is. You don't obey them in that which is munkar. But that doesn't mean that you have to be a bad and nasty son. Try your best to convince her. Try your best to avoid religious discussion. But what does me buying you a gift, taking you out, what does that have to do with religion? We don't have to talk about religion. If your mother's a non-Muslim, it's nothing to do with religion. It's time to make salat to dhuhr. Say, Umi, I'll be right back. I gotta go do something really quick. Nothing to do with religion. I won't talk about you being a Christian or a Hindu or whatever. If you don't say anything about me being a Muslim, we'll get along. As far as me being a son, I'll be the best son. But we don't have to talk about any type of dogmatic, theological arguments. It's just that simple. As far as if they're attacking you and mocking you and making fun of you, then it's a bit more difficult, of course. Because you have the religious fervor. You have the jealousy for the deen. They're slandering the Prophet. You don't have to sit with her, but it doesn't mean that you cut them off 100%. You can send her money. You can do other services for her. You don't have to sit in the company of those who are mocking and making fun of you, your beard and what you look like, and well, how many wives can you have, and so on and so on and so forth. You don't have to listen to that, nor do you obey them in that. But it doesn't mean that you what? Disrespect them and disobey them in the other good things. And this is all the way around the board. The ulama of Islam, they mention it's about a Muslim ruler who commands people to do munkar. They are not allowed to obey him. But it does not mean that they don't obey him in the other things. And Allah knows best. Fadl akhi.
Ustad, you mentioned, this is a bit off topic, but you mentioned going abroad. What advice would you give to brothers that really want to pursue the Arabic language in the West? For example, I remember you mentioned how you learned the language yourself. So what
tips for learning Arabic living in a Western country? You gotta have passion. You have to have, your heart has to become a burning furnace that has an insatiable greed for fuel. I'm not sleeping, I'm not eating until I learn Arabic. I have to learn. I refuse to be ignorant, and I want to learn. That's what you have to have. That's the most important thing. Before a book, before a teacher, before Medina University, you gotta want it. And it has to be the most important thing before anything or anyone. And if it's not, then the odds are already against you. The deck is stacked against you. The deck of cards is stacked against you. You have work, you have family, you have music, you have zina, fitna, kada. The odds are against you. And the only thing that you have to have a chance to put up a decent fight is that you want it more than they want what they want. So you gotta want the Arabic language. If you want to study hadith, you cannot successfully study hadith 100% unless you have the Lugha al-Arabiyyah. You know I can't get here unless I get here. So you gotta have the passion in your heart. You gotta love it. And if you don't have it that much, ask Allah for it. Ask Allah for it. Inshallah ta'ala. And Allah knows best. Fadl akhi.
If someone was to want to start seeking knowledge, what importance would they place on learning a hadith or, for example, mutun books over the Quran? Or could you balance it?
Learning, seeking knowledge. What precedence do you give a hadith, mutun books versus the Quran, etc.? If it's a metin that's based off of a skill, a fan, lugha, usul, whatever it is, no. It has to come after the Quran. However, if it's an issue which you're systematically studying and you're memorizing the Quran with everything else, that's not a problem. But if that book is taking away time from the Quran, then it is a problem. Or if you're reading a book and studying a book that gives you the culture of a student of knowledge, that's the most important thing. It's to actually become a real student of knowledge, mentally, spiritually, physically, and then you pursue the memorization of the other things. All right? So that's what I would say in brief. And Allah knows best for lack of time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have some money saved. Me and my husband would like to use this money to study abroad. Is Hajj wajib on me, or do I go to study? If you have enough money to make Hajj, and that includes the bills at home, going and coming back, you're healthy, the visa you can obtain, then you must make Hajj. That comes before going to travel to seek knowledge. Let alone the fact that when you go to make Hajj, that's a means of seeking knowledge. You can go make Hajj and visit the Mashayikh, visit the Tulab there, apply for the university there. Who knows? I know brothers, wallahi, that wanted to make Hajj and they ended up living in Medina for many years. They wanted to just go and see the Kaaba and they ended up staying there for years. So you don't know what's in store for you, but you have to perform the Hajj. And once you take that one step, Allah will bless you with many, many other things. And Allah knows best. How do I balance between making hijrah and trying to take care of my non-Muslim family in other country? What's your advice? It depends on who the family is. Your mother or a cousin or an uncle. Someone who's sick versus someone who's healthy. Someone who's old and needy versus someone who's young and lively. It depends. It depends. If they need your service, then that's one ruling. If they don't need your service, then that's a different story. If they're trying to hold you back from studying or making hijrah because they don't want you to do that, that's not the same as someone who doesn't mind you making hijrah, but I do need you. And I'll be very sad if you left me, even as a non-Muslim. Okay? And most importantly is, you have to figure out why are you making hijrah. What are you making hijrah for? Because you can't do these things in your country, it's too much fitna, or you're looking for a perfect place. If it's too much fitna in London, make hijrah, no doubt. Leave this place. If you think that you're going to, all right. So it all depends. There's no one ruling for this issue, and Allah knows best.
Brother, I have a question.
Do you have a question?
Yes.
You have a question?
Yes.
Fadal. Go ahead.
What may be the smallest sin during Ramadan?
The smallest sin?
Yes. Yes.
The smallest sin on Ramadan. I don't know. I don't know what could be the smallest sin. I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I've never been asked that before. What is the smallest sin? We know what's the greatest sin.
One of the smallest, a sin amongst the smallest ones then.
Something that's really, really small. Among talking gossip. I don't know. It's not haram speech, not backbiting anyone, but you're just saying stuff. Talking about things. Allahu alam, yani. Gossip could be namima, or maybe it isn't namima. Namima is a major sin, of course. Ghiba is a major sin. Allahu alam, that's a difficult question. It could be anything. What's important is try your best to avoid sin. What's important is every sin is a major sin if you look at the one whom you're disobeying. The advice that I will give you in conclusion, akhi, with regards to small sins and what could be the smallest sin, is the hadith that says, إِيَّاكُمْ وَمُحَقَّرَاتِ الذُّنُوبِ. Beware of sins which are deemed small. Beware of sins which are looked down upon. And we know that the hadith says the similitude of those sins are like, or someone who, or people, nazaru biwad. Qawmin nazaru biwadin. Or people who went to a valley, and the valley was barren. And they didn't have any wood to make a fire, but he had a twig. فَجَاءَ ذَا بِعُودٍ وَجَاءَ ذَا بِعُودٍ وَجَاءَ ذَا بِعُودٍ. Another brother took a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth, until they had enough wood to bake their bread, or to roast whatever they're trying to roast. So small sins that are looked down upon are very dangerous. People, they scorn them, and the next thing you know, it's a mountain of sin. So that can happen in Ramadan and outside of Ramadan. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, brothers and sisters. Jazakumullahu khairan. Until the next episode.